All right, I'm going to try to explain to the best of my abilities why this pause buffering debate is popping up again. So basically it all started with this run right here, this observation of what Sam does. There's a good example. You can hear two pauses essentially, which which you would think that's, an advantageous pause, which should be bannable. But then when I looked back at the original ruling, we figured out that this exact case was actually already brought up. This video of Justin was posted on the thread back in like 2016, where you see him pausing twice on the glitch. And as you can see here, even Caleb comments that you play like Sam with the pausing. And in Sam's forum post, he says, yeah, I pause like Justin. It's simply a habit I've picked up and can't get rid of. So this was already known back in the day. So, and eventually the rule was sort of built on that, on that knowledge that people do already do this. And so therefore in the not allowed section, this is a bit of an oversimplification since this is a bit of an earlier draft of the rules, but technically this type of pausing was never disallowed. So we don't allow using pause to align yourself based on the position you see on the paused game, but we do allow using pause because you feel like it or out of habit, as long as you aren't trying to get a driving related advantage. So basically, this is very vague. What is actually the difference between these two things? Just as a first example. Because this is really a ruling based on intent more than actual inputs. Like, what is actually the difference between in the inputs compared to pausing like this, which you could argue that is just out of habit, and like pausing and being in the pause menu for a longer amount of time, and actually like adjusting what you do based on it. You could argue that this is already like that, so you already run into a debate. So I think I'm going to go on a rant here and just let you with this, because I don't think you guys will be able to... No. You guys won't be able to concentrate otherwise. So what is actually the difference between that? What is it? So you have a rule based on intent, which is just a stupid rule. You might as well not have a rule at all if it's based on intent, because the only way you can really police it is if someone confesses to intending. So I think it's just a stupid rule, because the only way to like actually make a decision is by confession. And then you get to the area of what is really the difference between Peach Gardens, which is the flower hop, and improving reaction times. Is in both cases you're adjusting your analog stick position inside the pause menu based off what you see in the game. So how much adjusting is too much? If you just ban the automatic hop, like if you pause and you fail the automatic hop, is that a bannable run? If you pause but you get the automatic hop but you get it badly, is that ban worthy? So you run into this gray area with this. You're always going to run into this gray area with policing analog stick input. So what I would think is like, okay, just allow stick inputs inside the pause menu to react to your situation. But then you get another problem. So on top of stick inputs, what about chains? Like, so you can... Okay, shit. I actually can't use this video. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to pull up another video. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So then you have this. So basically, you can pause on a chain wheelie to essentially make a double tap on the chain faster. So you go into the pause menu, and then you'll press up to continue game, and then press unpause at the same time. And you can theoretically make and actually not even theoretically, you can make the gap between two D-pad up buttons or up presses smaller, using just the pause menu. I think you can see another example of it here. Yep. So he drops, he pauses, but then again, this is probably, I would say, the most convincing debate, most convincing argument about pausing, because this could actually turn into something that would actually make playing the game quite annoying. But again, like there's so much gray area in the rule that like you cannot write just a black and white rule off of this. It's just not possible because like how many frames do you need to how close does it have to be to the chain? What if you what if you pause like way after the chain, way before the chain? Like where is the line? Where's the line that we draw here? It's like how good do you have to do it? What if you pause on the chain perfectly, but then your second up button press is just like 3 frames too late? That doesn't, like, do you ban that? What if you do it perfectly? You get a two frames between wheelie inputs, but you get like you time the pause horribly. You get an 84 drop. Is that still a bannable offense? So like, and then let's say you get the chain, and then 1 frame later you pause, and then you unpause and you don't press the d-pad again. Like technically you're not really pause buffering. It's like you get to the area of attempted pause buffering. Like let's say on Yoshi Falls there's 1 chain on the whole track. If you do the mini turbo strat, you pause buffer that chain, but you're like, oh, let's pause. It's like, okay, I got the chain 1 frame, then I pause the next frame. Then you're like, okay, well, never mind. Then you unpause and then you just hold A and finish the run. Like technically you're not buffering the chain. You just attempted it. Like where do we draw the line again? It's like it's such a subjective ruling that I think it's impossible to like draw like a black and white rule if we do end up allowing pausing. I think that's pretty clear here. So like the final thing that we came up with is that it doesn't make any sense for a normal person to worry about the rules. Hold on, let me just while I explain this, you can look at this. I don't think I need it anymore. So basically, like any normal person, like talking about the populace, and then I put this on. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to be so on the nose about it. But yeah, so no normal person, I think, wants to worry about this stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You want to play the fucking game. You don't want to argue endlessly about how many frames does there need to be between a pause and a chain wheelie input, and all this like rant that I went on to like actually make sure, because like no one's going to be able to follow a run. It's like, oh yeah, you can pause, but only 3 frames before the chain. It's like you're not going to be able to follow that rule meaningfully. You're just not going to pause at all if that is the rule, which maybe that's a good thing. But then again, you have people who just don't care about the rules, just do it anyway because I don't recognize this rule. This rule is stupid. I don't do it. How do we police that? Like in those cases, we'll police some runs. We'll not police other runs. So basically, my thesis, again going on another tangent, I think the thesis is that to actually fix this issue, we would need to get the decision making away from the general community because it's so subjective. People will never be able to come to an agreement. So what the options really are number one, it's very simple. Just we compromise. We ban the home button because the home button can actually be used to play the game frame by frame. So we would ban that, and Mr. Bean would add a function, much like in a worldwide, where you just can't press the home button after you gain control of the character and until the race ends. You would still be able to press it when the course is loading in. You'd still be able to press it after you cross the line to like take a picture of the splits or something, get ready for that. And you would be able to press it once you're inside a regular pause. But like any other moment in the game, you wouldn't be able to press or in the race, you wouldn't be able to press the home button. But other than like home button has that, but then pause button, it has a 0.3 second cooldown. So it can't be used like endlessly to play the game frame by frame or something. But it's also important to note that it's still a compromise. Like stuff will still come up with the regular home button. You will still get like, for example, that chaining thing. But it is a compromise. Maybe we can reach that. But the option 2 is banning home still, because I think most people can agree that could actually be game breaking. And but we would form an annually elected council of pause buffering of people to monitor pause buffering. So, but the plans right now are quite rudimentary for this. I don't think we don't really have a base to go off of it. But I think if we are to keep having this very subjective gray area rule, we do need to take the decision making away from the community, because it just turns into a shouting match if you have 100 people trying to argue on this very like philosophical gray area of the pause buffering rule. And we would have it be so people would apply to the council, the community would vote, and then that would be considered a mandate from the people to make the decisions. You would have like votes in the council or something, and then you would be able to decide. That is also important to like keep the decisions consistent. Who knows like what will actually happen inside the council itself. I just don't think there's good. I think these are the two best options we have to fixing the issue. I don't think either of them are perfect. I think the point is that the game is just broken, and there's no good way to fix this. These are the best things we have, and honestly, they're both kind of bad options. But we've tried for until 2019, when the ban was put in place. These are the best two options I think we've ever come up with. So yeah, this way, if we have the council, regardless of if we have the council or not, or if we just unban pausing, we'll take the debate away from the general public. So whenever stuff like this happens and the pause buffering ban gets enforced, there won't be a massive debate about what we should do with the pause buffering rules. Right. I think that's just about everything. Yeah, so the poll will be out once I make the video. Please go vote. We'll make the decision based on the results of the poll. Whether we want to just unban pausing and banning home and establishing a council to deal with the gray areas with the current rule. Right? That's about it. I don't know how the hell you're able to get this kind of political, philosophical discussion about a fucking feature in a Mario Kart game. It's pretty unreal. But yeah, please go vote. Good luck.